The story of Atlantis is not, as some believe, a work of fiction. According to some, the Greek philosopher Plato fashioned his detailed account of the lost civilization just to make a point. Why did Plato provide so much detail on Atlantis if he intended to use it only as a literary device? Why did his characters refer to it as genuine history and claim its very existence as a fact? The flower of Western civilization is firmly rooted in ancient Greece. More than 400 years before Christ, Plato was born to an aristocratic family of Athens. When still an infant, while he was sleeping, bees came to settle on his lips. This foretold the sweetness of his words, which one day he would commit to papyrus scrolls. As a young man, he chose the sport of wrestling, and his coach dubbed him Platon, meaning broad of shoulder and robust, which he used thereafter as his name. He would go on to wrestle in one of the original Olympic Games. Then Plato traveled abroad, through Italy, Egypt, and Libya. Returning to Greece, he entered politics. For opposing the tyrant of Syracuse, he narrowly escaped a sentence of death. But he was sold into slavery. A friend bought his freedom for $20 and sent him home. In Athens, Plato founded the first school of higher learning. That is to say, he invented college. Unlike all other writers who lived at the same time, Plato's work is believed to have survived intact for over 2,400 years, because of the high esteem in which it is held. He describes the city of Atlantis in two of his works. He describes a central mountain carved into a palace, then enclosed within 3 circular moats, separated by concentric rings of land. A wall surrounded each of these rings, constructed of the red rock that had been quarried to make the moats. The walls were covered with brass, so that when reflecting the sun, they shone as if made of gold. The Atlanteans then built bridges northward from the mountain to access the rest of the island. A great canal was excavated, leading to the sea. Every passage to the city was guarded, either by gate or tower. Often Plato would base his essays on historical research he conducted himself. The source from which Plato drew the history of Atlantis may have been the poorly translated work of another author, who increased by a factor of 10 the number of years since the island sank into the sea. If the catastrophe occurred 900 years before Plato's time instead of 9,000, the legend would accurately describe the fate of the lost civilization of the Minoans. Predating the rise of Greece, the seat of Minoan civilization flourished on the island of Crete for 1,500 years. Atlantean details fit well with what is known of Minoan culture. Women of both places held a high social and political status. Both cultures enjoyed a unique sport of leaping over bulls. And both states were fond of imposing military might upon their neighbors. However, when on the neighboring island of Santorini, a massive volcano erupted, a tsunami was raised, with waves reaching a height of 250 feet. As the tsunami washed over the island of Crete, the Minoan Empire was extinguished, as it literally sank beneath the Mediterranean Sea. The shape of the volcanic caldera can still be seen today. In 2009, Professor and Rabbi Richard Freund proposed an alternative mailing address for the lost city of Atlantis. Based on satellite images from Google Earth of marshlands on the southern coast of Spain, the footprint of an old city can be discerned in the shape of a circle, containing multiple concentric rings, crossed by straight lines radiating out from the center. This location is near the Straits of Gibraltar, formerly known as the Pillars of Hercules. And this is exactly where Plato placed Atlantis.
With you and me.
Boys, time to come help with the laundry.
This is the worst job.
You know that hanging our clothes outside to dry saves energy and is better for the environment. We save over $50 a year just by using the sun instead of electricity to dry our clothes.
We know.
Come on, it won't take long. Don't forget your sunglasses and sunscreen.
Why can't Mom just get a clothesline?